So you heard from Public Mobile, and you got a consultant's view on how the new wireless kids are competing with the Rogers, Bells, and Teluses of the world. But what are consumers really looking for in a cell phone plan these days? And are they giving up the bells and whistles in favor of recession phones? Jamie Chadwick is managing director of Save Cell Communications, a company that finds cheap cell phone plans for consumers. Howard Chewy is founder of howardforums.com, a popular online discussion board where people share information about cell phones and wireless plans. Great to have you two guys back with us.
Thanks for having us.
So, Howard, I understand you did a little bit of a poll before coming on here about whether people are trading down, and if so, what'd you find?
Actually, I found that for people on my site, almost none of them traded down. I think the reason is because a phone is there's three things you bring when you leave the house: your wallet, your keys, and your phone. And so people would rather get rid of other stuff before they get rid of their phone. Like the people before me were saying, they're substituting, they're getting rid of their landline and other things.
And Jamie, what's your experience been through this?
You know what? I don't think too many people have been sort of reducing their cell phone usage. I think a lot of people have used cell phones as part of their everyday life now, and they use it to keep in contact with their family, their friends, and for business, whether it be through email, text messaging, or phone usage. So I think a lot of people are still using their phones the same way, and you haven't seen as much of a decrease as you'd think you would compared with other industries.
But we saw a warning from TELUS a week or so ago, and it showed their average revenue per user had actually fallen by 5 or 6%.
Sure, and I think you'll see them drop with all companies. I just don't think they're going to drop as much as other industries would. As I said, I think people really use their cell phones and they consider it a part of their everyday life. So I think people are very hesitant to give up the services they use on their phone every day because it's just become a part of their culture and they're happy with it, and they're not willing to give it up. They'd rather give up other aspects of their lifestyle before they give away their cell phone.
But you run a business where you try and find people the cheapest plan.
Correct.
Are people looking for cheaper plans?
Absolutely. People we've been very busy lately with, a number of people are looking to try and save money on their cell phones, and we look at every option available in order to help them do so.
So Howard, back to you. What about these cheapy phones that we've been talking about through the show here? There's a segment of the population that does not even have cell phones. Do you think that they're going to go for these new offerings?
Yeah, I think so. Like the person before me was saying, a cell phone can actually be cheaper, and it's a more functional device. And so maybe the lower prices and simpler plans are what some people are waiting for. Because, phone plans are notoriously complicated, right?
Nice to have no bill, as he said earlier. I mean, is that going to be appealing to people?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, phones can be such a headache. You have, system access fees, all these different charges, versus flat rate. It's going to be so different.
What about prepaid versus postpaid? Is there a shift going on here?
Well, prepaid can also include the TELUS, Rogers, Bells, their other brands like Solo, Fido, Koodo. I think that's one of the reasons why TELUS ARPU has fallen, because I think Koodo is cannibalizing it a little bit, but that's what they have to do to prepare for the new entrants.
And Koodo is that secondary brand that TELUS has.
Yeah. People are attracted to the fact that they have no system access fee, so it's simpler. On Fido, for example, the contract is only 2 years instead of 3 years. And, if you have a relatively basic plan, they may be cheaper, right? Some people don't want to give up their fully featured phone, but for some people, all they want to do is talk and text. Then if you can't wait for the new entrant, then going with Koodo, Fido, Solo, Virgin might be a better way to go.
And so what about the U.S. experience with these cheapy phones?
You know what? I think they've been very successful. I mean, I think a lot of people, they really like the fact that their bill is the same amount every month. And I think a big problem Canadian consumers have with the cellular phone industry is their bills fluctuate so much month to month, and very rarely do they get the same bill twice. So I think when people are offering sort of an all-you-can-eat type deal, where you can use as many minutes as you want, it's just going to be a flat rate, I think people are really taking a liking to that, especially with the way the economy's going. People like to know how much they're spending on their services each month. So when you have a set bill every month, I think I think people really take a liking to that, and I think that Canadian consumers consumers, they're really going to jump on board with that. And with the new entrants coming in, I think, as the gentleman was saying before, with 1/3 of Canadians not having cell phones, a big part of that due to the price of cell phones, I think you're going to see that 30 to 35% slowly start that to decrease and more people to have cell phones as time goes on, because of the fact, as I said, that it's just a flat rate, and that's something that definitely appeals to them.
And are people asking you about that?
Oh, absolutely. We get questions all the time. When are the new plans coming out, and when are the flat rates coming out? And we just tell them to hold their breath, and they'll be out soon.
And what about Apple? Apple's results came out this week, and iPhones are still selling like crazy, better than ever. So, are there a couple of different markets here that we're really talking about?
For some people, when they're really attached to their phone, like I know one person who tried to give up his BlackBerry for a cheaper phone with a cheaper monthly rate, and he switched back because
frustrated.
Well, like it's one of the last things that you're willing to cut, right? And so with the iPhone, people really like it and they don't want to get rid of them. And also, like, the iPhone is still relatively new for Canada, for example. Like, it's only been out for a year, so there's still a lot of people who are going to get one.
There's a style statement involved.
Yeah, and as well, on top of that, I think a lot of people with the iPhone, it sort of trendsetted the cellular phone industry, and now you have all these iPhone applications and all these cool features that we didn't have before that, and that BlackBerries didn't have before the iPhone came out. And I think people are sort of falling in love with these iPhone applications, and because of that, they want their iPhone and they want the latest and greatest. And there's actually some really neat and cool applications on there. So I think that's why you haven't seen Apple take as much of a hit as you might have some other companies.
All right, gentlemen, we'll leave it there. Good to have you both back with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. That's Jamie Chadwick, Managing Director, Save Cell Communications, and Howard Chewy, founder, howardforums.com.